Ron Siegel Radio, your home and mortgage connection.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take how your family or business can benefit from current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day. We have a very focused show. We only chat about items that affect the roof over your head, your bank account, and anything I feel would benefit you. And let me remind you, if you ever have any home or finance-related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you, and you can reach out to me directly, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are operators standing by.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
Well, I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan, a plan to save you money. I personally work with you, even if you don't have any needs today. Save this number in your phone for future reference, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And yes, we're celebrating today. We celebrate every day on Ron Siegel Radio. There's a lot of things that, we just kind of skip over on Ron Siegel Radio. There's not anything exciting about it. Like National Pluto Day. Yeah, I don't think we're going to go there. National Battery Day. Wouldn't that be like December 26th? I don't know about you. Maybe December 25th. When they got all the kids are getting all the gifts and things that need batteries. So why on February 18th is it National Battery Day? Yeah, we're going to skip that one too. National Crab Stuffed Flounder Day. Now, the question I have on this one is anything really stuffed with real crab anymore? Do we ever see anything with real crab? It's always imitation crab is what it seems like nowadays. So maybe, I don't know. Maybe they do have the flounder that's stuffed with crab. Sounds good to me. And if you want to go with sounds good to me, how about National Drink Wine Day? So what is your favorite wine? Have you tried anything new in wine? So give me the Merlots. Give me the Zinfandels. No, not white Zinfandel. That was a mistake. Did you ever hear the story of white Zinfandel? It was actually a mistake that was made at Sutter Home, and they left some skins on too long, and that's how they ended up getting white Zinfandel. Interesting stuff. Little what is that? What is the saying there, Josh? It's useless trivia. That's it, useless trivia. I'm going to stick with the Merlots, the Zinfandels. That's where my taste buds go. I'm not into the big bold cabs, although some of them are good. But go ahead and drink wine day today. Now, I don't know. I wonder, number one, why is February 18th drink wine? Maybe it's part of the religious stuff. I don't know about that. To me, almost any day is a good day to drink wine. Yeah, I would say that's really the way to do it. Yahoo! Yeah, give me some wine. Oh, stop that. Okay, let's take a look and see what the markets are doing today. Ooh, the Dow Jones Industrial Average up 336 points. The NASDAQ is up 296 points. S&P 500 is up 62. Oil's up $2.32 a barrel. Ow! Yeah, that's got to do with the garbage over there in the Middle East. Gold is up $119 an ounce. 10-year Treasury. That one's up just a basis point, 4.07. And the mortgage bond is up 3 basis points. So remember, bond up, rates down right there on that one. We'll talk about why all this is happening in just a bit, but we're watching all of it for you. We're also looking at that oil prices going up. Is it having an effect on gas prices? Well, I can tell you here in Southern California, unfortunately, yes, it is. $4.59 a gallon, national average, $2.92 a gallon. And just because we can, looks like Josh, looks like your gas prices are going up there in Nevada also. $3.40 a gallon, give or take, is what we're probably looking at there in Nevada. So $3.40 against $4.50. You can still celebrate. You're still $1.20 cheaper than we are in the formerly Golden State. And if you're watching the news, which I don't know, why would anybody watch the news? I mean, we talk about things that are good for you, but I was just looking at the New York mayor. Now, remember, elections have consequences. And I hope that our friends here in California are listening, because I saw right now that that Eric Swalwell, talk about a traitor. So he's now coming into second place in the governor elections. I guess we had the primary in June. So Swalwell's now running behind Hilton, and Chad Bianco's dropped to third now. We need to get Bianco and Hilton going against each other for governor. That way we're guaranteed to get some sanity back in Sacramento. But I referenced Mondami. So he's trying to put through a budget, the largest budget ever in New York City. Now, here's a fascinating thing. New York City has less people than the entire state of Florida. Yet their budget is larger than the entire state of Florida. Figure that one out. I know, Josh, you're into Florida stuff there, being a graduate from the area. So, but New York, Mondami. So he says if he can't get his tax hikes raised, now they never think about the idea of balancing a budget based on spending less. So he's saying now if he can't get more tax dollars, he's gonna work on raising property taxes, raise them by 9.5%, as if they're not already taxed enough in New York City. But that's what happens when you elect a communist or a socialist. They just want to keep taking more and more of your money, and it's kind of what happens there. 9.5% is what they're looking to increase property taxes by. You gotta love politics and love some of these guys that just want to keep spending money. Why is it that they're always looking to spend somebody else's money? I just don't get it. But you can put your comments right there in the comments, and we appreciate any comments you have. I get some good ones, I get some bad ones. As long as they're respectful, we like them all. We also encourage you to subscribe so you know when we're going to be going live. So we don't have to tell you each and every business day morning about 9 o'clock in the morning we're going live. If you're listening on ABC News and Talk, 6 o'clock in the afternoon here on the West Coast. And yes, our affiliate, ABC News and Talk, AM 1490, FM 98.1, does have a video feed. Josh, would you check this and see if it works? rsrlinks.com/ABC. It might be it's either rsrlinks.com/ABC or it's rsrlinks.com/KMET. One of those will get you to the video link that comes right off of ABC Network with our broadcast there each business day afternoon. rsrlinks.com/ABC is where you'll find us. You are listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, do you know what your house is really worth? The credit score secret, most people myth, and the basics of Medicare. All that and more. Reach me anytime. Off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you missed any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Radio, your home and mortgage connection.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel Lending Team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 018694452. You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by our friends, rsrlinks.com/mobile app, rsrlinks.com/mobile app. And every day at this time, OBMMI, they provide the most comprehensive, accurate, and interactive analysis of pricing ever conducted in the mortgage industry, calculated from actual locked rates with consumers across 35% of all mortgage transactions nationwide. They don't tell us points paid, points received, or the APR. They tell us the number you need to put in your mortgage calculator to determine your principal and interest payment. And if you don't have a mortgage calculator, rsrlinks.com/calculators, rsrlinks.com/calculators. And this week we are going to be featuring in our weekend update, we're going to be talking about the FIRE calculator. No, not the type that you burn. It's financial independence, retire early. Are you on track? Are you not on track? We're going to talk about it, and we've got a calculator right there for free for you. All you have to do is go to rsrlinks.com/calculators. Now, what did rates do yesterday? Conventional 30-year fixed, 5.972. That was down. Jumbo 30-year fixed, 6.241. That was up. FHA 30-year fixed, 5.872. That one was down. VA 30-year fixed, 5.603. That was up. And the USDA 30-year fixed, 5.854. That one was up. If you want our thoughts about the market each and every business day morning, as early as the day it allows, join the Ron Siegel Radio community. Again, it's free to you. rsrlinks.com/HBOD. rsrlinks.com/HBOD. What are the markets doing right now in the Mortgage Minute? Well, we've got the S&P 500 is up 61.5 points. The 10-year Treasury is up a little over 1 basis point at 4.07. We like that. And the mortgage bond, that's up 3 basis points. Remember, bond up, rates down, but it's only 3 basis points, so it's not going to mean a whole heck of a lot. What's driving it? That's what's more meaningful. So what is driving it? Well, we got housing starts and permits. They rose 4.3% month over month in December to an annualized rate of 1.448 million and are down 2.2% year over year. Housing starts rose 6.2% month over month to an annualized rate of 1.4 million and are down 7.3% year over year. Housing completions rose 2.3% month over month to an annualized rate of 1.525, but are still down 0.1% year over year. Mortgage Bankers Association released their mortgage application data for the last week, showing rates were a little changed near 6 1/8 and 0.75 point lower than this time last year. Durable goods orders report for December was released. The report showed that orders fell 1.4% month over month versus a 2% expected decline. So it's a little bit better there. Core durable goods, which strips out defense spending and aircraft, rose 0.6%, which was more than the 0.4% expected. Core shipments, which gets plugged into GDP, was triple market estimates at 0.9% and could lead to slight upward revisions to already strong GDP numbers, at least from this one aspect. That's the Mortgage Minute, brought to you by rsrlinks.com/mobile app, rsrlinks.com/mobile app. So if you were listening to us yesterday, and you should have been, we shared with you some tips on things people are missing in the world of Social Security. And we're going to share that with our Ron Siegel Radio community. We only got to a few of the items most people miss. There are a total of 8 of them that are in the top group of missed items when it comes to Social Security. We're going to share that entire list. And we also footnote it so you can check our work. We'll have that in the Ron Siegel Radio community. If you're not a member, rsrlinks.com/HBOD, rsrlinks.com/HBOD. Borrow Smart segment today being brought to you by GetHomeSelect.com, GetHomeSelect.com. Here's a question most people never think to ask until it's almost too late. When should you sign up for Medicare? Because if you get it wrong, you could end up paying a penalty for the rest of your life. Let's talk about it. I am Ron Siegel, certified liability advisor, helping families build wealth through strategic debt management. Today, we're going to talk about something that touches just about every household in America, Medicare. Now, I know what you're thinking. Ron, you're a mortgage guy. What do you know about Medicare? Fair point. But here's the thing. Medicare directly affects your household budget, your retirement cash flow, and ultimately your ability to stay in your home. So yeah, this matters. Let's start with the basics. Medicare is the federal health insurance program. If you're 65 or older, it's available to you. If you're under 65 and receiving Social Security disability insurance for a certain period of time, it may be available to you as well. Now, there are two main paths. You can go with original Medicare. That's the traditional program run directly by the federal government. Or you can choose a Medicare Advantage plan, which is a private insurance that contracts with Medicare. Original Medicare has two core parts. Part A covers inpatient and hospital care. Part B covers outpatient and medical services. If you want prescription drug coverage, that's Part D, and in most cases, you'll need to actively choose and sign up for a separate drug plan. It doesn't just happen automatically. Here's where it gets important. If you choose Medicare Advantage, you still owe your monthly Part B premium. People are sometimes surprised by that. You still have Medicare, but you're just choosing to receive your benefits through a private company. Those plans have network restrictions. That means you may not be able to see just any doctor or go to just any hospital by way you can with original Medicare. But Medicare Advantage plans can also offer extras that original Medicare does not cover, things like routine vision and dental care. So which one's right for you? That depends on your situation, your doctors, your health needs, your budget, and your household cash flow. Sound familiar? It's the same framework I use with mortgages. Safety, liquidity, and return. You want coverage that's safe, that keeps your money available when you need it, and that gives you the best value for what you're paying. Now, here's something people confuse all the time. Medicare and Medicaid are not the same thing. Medicare eligibility is based on age, not income. Medicaid is an income-based program. Some people actually qualify for both, and they're known as dual eligibles. But that's a whole separate conversation. One more thing worth mentioning. Every person on Medicare gets a red, white, and blue original Medicare card. If you're using original Medicare, that's the card you show your providers. If you're on Medicare Advantage plan, you'll use your plan card instead. And here's a simple but important rule. Only give your Medicare number to your doctors and healthcare providers, not to strangers, not to people who call you out of the blue. Protect that number. Now, the reason I bring this up is that Medicare decisions don't happen in a vacuum. The premiums you pay, the out-of-pocket costs you carry, those are real numbers that affect your household budget every single month. And your household budget is exactly what determines whether you can afford the home you're in, save for your future, or take advantage of opportunities when they come along. If you don't have a clear picture of what's coming in and what's going out every month, you're flying blind. And that's true whether you're talking about Medicare, a mortgage, or anything else. Bottom line, here's where I want you to go. Go to rsrlinks.com/keysteps, rsrlinks.com/keysteps. It's a simple tool that helps you get your financial house in order, and that includes understanding how healthcare costs fit into your overall budget picture, rsrlinks.keysteps. And if you have questions, if you want to sit down and actually look at your numbers together, just give me a call, 800-306-1990. I am Ron Siegel, your certified liability advisor, helping families build wealth through strategic debt management. Thanks for listening to the Borrow Smart segment, brought to you by GetHomeSelect.com, GetHomeSelect.com. And yes, I still talk about the Home Select product. It's called Wealth Builder. That's what it's called. It's called the Wealth Builder loan. And it is the best loan on the market. I just was consulting with somebody yesterday talking about that. And they have good assets, good income. The Wealth Builder loan, it's going to be a big issue for them. Just sharing that with you. The Wealth Builder loan at gethomeselect.com. You are listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, do you know what your house is really worth? Well, we're going to talk about it. The credit score secret most people miss, and the roof you never think about. All that and more. Reach me anytime. Off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you missed any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Confused about the home buying process? Or curious how much you really know about buying a home? Take the First Home IQ quiz to test your understanding of buying a home. Created by the nonprofit First Home IQ, this 5-minute quiz will give you a score, what you missed, and why. Take the quiz in 5 minutes at rsrlinks.com/FHIQ and find out what you need to know about buying your first home. That's rsrlinks.com/FHIQ.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. Home values across Southern California jumped roughly 40 to 45% over the last 5 years. So let me ask you something. Do you actually know what your house is worth today? Not what you paid for it, not what an online calculator guesses, what it's actually worth right now in this market. I am Ron Siegel, certified liability advisor, helping families build wealth through strategic debt management. And you are listening to Ron Siegel Radio. And today we're talking about one of the most important numbers a homeowner can know, and most people have no idea what it is. Here's a story I hear all the time. A family bought their home back in 2020. They paid $800,000. They've been making their payments, living their lives, not thinking much about it. Then they sit down with me and find out their home is now worth somewhere around $1,150,000. That's roughly $350,000 in appreciation they didn't even know they had sitting there. Now think about that for a second. $350,000. That's not a small number. But here's the thing. Equity by itself doesn't do anything for you. It just sits there. The question is, what do you do with that information? Some people hear that and immediately think, time to sell. Maybe, but let's think this through. First, where are you going to go? If your home went up in value, so did everything else in your neighborhood. So selling might not get you as far as you think. Second, if you bought in 2020 when rates were in the threes, trading that low loan for a new one at today's rates is a big deal. That's a conversation that needs to happen before you make any moves. But here's where it gets interesting. Knowing your home's value opens up options you might not have considered. Maybe you have credit card debt at 22, 24, 28% interest. Maybe you have a car loan, medical bills, student loans. When I sit down with a family and we look at what I call the household blended interest rate, which is the average cost, the weighted average cost of all the debt in your household combined, sometimes we find that a family is paying 14 or 15% on average across all their debt, and they have $350,000 in equity sitting in the house doing nothing. That's a conversation worth having. Now, I want to be clear. This is not about telling you to go pull out all your equity and spend it. That's not strategic debt management. My framework is safety, liquidity, and return. We look at what's safe, what keeps your options opened, and what actually puts money back in your household budget every month. And that last part is the key, every month, because I'm less concerned with what your mortgage rate is and far more concerned with what's actually leaving your household every month to service all your debt combined. Here's something else worth knowing. Some of the tools available to homeowners today aren't your grandfather's home equity loan. There are products specifically designed to help you pay off your home faster while keeping your equity accessible. If you want to explore that, there's a link waiting for you, gethomeselect.com, gethomeselect.com. But step one is always the same. Know your number. What is your home worth today? What equity do you have? And what could that equity do for your family if it were working smarter? And we did earlier, or last week, I think we did a segment on, is your home paid off? I submit to you, if you have an $800,000 home and $800,000 in a safe, secure investment, you can say your home is paid off because you could write a check anytime you want to. But now you've got that home that's probably worth $1,150,000. That's an asset. And the equity that's sitting in that safe, secure investment at $800,000, now you're looking at $1,950,000 of assets working for you. That's the idea right there. It's working for you. Now, let me ask you, if you put a rate of return of, say, 5.3% on your home equity and, I don't know, call it 8% on your safe, secure investments, think about how much further you are ahead having 1.9 million working for you instead of having 800,000 working for, 1,000,001 working for you. Throw that out there. Bottom line, if you want to get your financial house in order and start with the right foundation, go to rsrlinks.com/keysteps, rsrlinks.com/keysteps. That'll walk you through what you need to know before making any decisions. And if you want to take a real look at what your home is worth today and explore what the equity could do for you, go to rsrlinks.com/homewealth, rsrlinks.com/homewealth. No pressure, no sales pitch, just the right information so you can make the right decision for your family. I am Ron Siegel, certified liability advisor, helping families build wealth through strategic debt management. Thanks for listening to the Real-Time Real Estate segment brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. Let's see. I think we're going to do, Borrow Smart segment brought to you by gethomeselect.com, gethomeselect.com. Here's a question for you. If your roof started leaking right now, would you rather have pretty flowers in the front yard or a solid roof over your head? I'm guessing the roof wins every time. I am Ron Siegel, certified liability advisor, helping families build wealth through strategic debt management. Today, I want to talk about something most people don't think about until it's too late. Insurance. Not the most exciting topic, I know. But stay with me because this conversation could save your family from a financial storm you never saw coming. Let me share some numbers that stopped me cold. 57% of American workers have no private short-term disability insurance. 65% have no long-term disability coverage. And nearly half of all Americans have zero life insurance. Half! Let that sink in. And here's one more that might surprise you. About 14% of drivers on the road right now are uninsured. That means roughly 1 in 7 cars you pass today has no coverage. If one of them hits you, guess who's left holding the bill? Here's what those numbers mean in plain English. If something happens to you, half the families in this country have nothing in place to replace the income that keeps the lights on, the mortgage paid, and the kids fed. Now, here's where most people make a mistake. They look at an insurance premium and they see a loss. Money out the door, nothing to show for it. Kind of like replacing a roof, right? Nobody gets excited about that. You don't post pictures of your new gutters on social media. But when the storm hits, and it always does at some point, you're going to be very glad that the roof is there. Insurance is the same idea. It's not a financial loss. It's protection for the wealth you're building so hard, or you're working so hard to build. I talk a lot about evaluating financial decisions through these 3 lenses: safety, liquidity, and return. Most people jump straight to return. What's the rate? What's the yield? What am I getting? But safety comes first always, because none of your returns matter if one health event, one accident, one unexpected death wipes out everything you've built. I had a conversation not long ago with a family going through a refinance. Smart people, good income. They had their mortgage dialed in. Their credit was solid. When we started talking about the full picture of their household finances, it came out they had no disability coverage and a life insurance policy so small it wouldn't have covered 6 months of expenses. That's a gap. And gaps like that can unravel years of financial progress in a matter of months. Now, think about that for a second. This family was focused on shaving 1/8 of a point off their mortgage rate. And I get it, rates matter. But strategy beats rate, always. And no rate reduction in the world helps you, and the financial foundation underneath isn't solid. Now, I want to be clear. Insurance isn't what I do directly, but it is absolutely part of the conversation I have with every family I work with, because protecting what you have is just as important as growing it. I have trusted professionals I can connect you with who specialize in reviewing your current coverage, shopping it against what's available today, and making sure your deductibles still make sense for where you are financially right now. Life changes. Your coverage should keep up. When did you last actually look at your policies? Not just pay the bill, but really look at what you have and whether it still fits your situation. If it's been more than a year or two, that's worth a conversation. Bottom line, if you want to start getting your financial house in order, and that means looking at the full picture, not just your mortgage rate, I've put together a resource to help you do exactly that. Go to rsrlinks.com/keysteps. That's rsrlinks.com/keysteps. It's a great starting point to see where you stand and what steps make sense for your family. I am Ron Siegel, your certified liability advisor, helping families build wealth through strategic debt management. Thanks for listening to the Borrow Smart segment, brought to you by gethomeselect.com, gethomeselect.com. You are listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, the credit score secret most people miss, and the real reason home sales slowed in January, and it's not what you think. All that and more. Reach me anytime. Off-air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Your Credit Matters segment today being brought to you by rsrlinks.com/debt-free. rsrlinks.com/debt-free. Had to wait and make sure I was on the same page with Josh there. rsrlinks.com/debt-free. What if I told you that your credit score could jump significantly and has nothing to do with paying off old collections or disputing errors on your credit report? I am Ron Siegel, certified liability advisor, helping families build wealth through strategic debt management. You are listening to Ron Siegel Radio. Here's something I see all the time. Someone comes to me. They've been working hard on their credit. They paid off that old collection. They wrote letters disputing things. And yes, those things matter, but their score barely moved. You know what moves a score fast? Credit card utilization. Now, before your eyes glaze over, let me make this simple. Utilization is just the percentage of your available credit that you're actually using at any given moment. If your credit card has a $1,000 limit and you're carrying a $500 balance, you're at 50% utilization, and that's a problem. Here's why this matters so much. Scoring models aren't just asking whether you pay on time. That's 35%. They're also watching how much of your available credit you're leaning on. And high utilization tells lenders you might be stretched thin, even if you've never missed a payment in your life. So what are the thresholds you need to know? Above 50%, you're likely seeing noticeable score suppression right now. Above 30%, it's still working against you. Below 30, you're in safer territory, but below 10%, that's the sweet spot for scoring purposes. And here's the part most people don't realize. Even one card reporting a high balance can drag your overall score down. It doesn't just have to be all your cards, just one. Now, here's where most people make a mistake. They don't even know what they're making. They don't even know they're making. It's a mistake they don't know they're making. They pay their credit card on time every month. They think they're doing everything right, but the balance that gets reported to the credit bureaus isn't necessarily what you owe on your due date. It's often what's showing on your statement closing date, which can be a week or two earlier. Remember, we've talked about this many, many times. rsrccpayment.com. rsrccpayment.com. I'll walk you through exactly how to pay your credit card bill the right way for FICO scoring purposes. rsrccpayment.com. So even if you pay in full every month, if your statement closes with a high balance, that high number is what gets reported, and that's what's dragging your score down. This is why the timing of your payments matters just as much as the amount. Paying your balance down before your statement closing date, not just before your due date, can make a real difference in what the bureaus see. We put together, again, a simple system for this, and you can find it at rsrccpayment.com, rsrccpayment.com. That's, again, rsrccpayment.com. It walks you through exactly how to time your credit card payments to keep your utilization low where it counts when the bureaus are actually looking. Now, think about what this means for you if you're planning to buy a home, refinance, or make any major financial move in the next 6 to 12 months. Your credit score affects your interest rate. Your interest rate affects your monthly payment. Your monthly payment affects your household budget. It all connects. This is exactly the kind of thing we look at during a full liability review. You want to take a look at your liabilities? rsrlinks.com/Sora. rsrlinks.com/Sora. And that'll give you an idea of what your liabilities look like. It's a soft credit pull, and it looks at your liabilities, and it gives us an effective interest rate as well. Again, rsrlinks.com/Sora. Complete picture of your household finance, not just one piece of the puzzle, because strategy beats rate always, and a better score before you apply can mean thousands of dollars in savings over the life of the loan. Bottom line, if you want to get your financial house in order before your next move, go to rsrlinks.com/keysteps, rsrlinks.com/keysteps. We'll walk you through exactly what to do first. And if you want to take a look at where your credit stands right now with no hard pull on your credit, again, you can go to rsrlinks.com/Sora. That's rsrlinks.com/Sora, SORA. I am Ron Siegel, your certified liability advisor, helping families build wealth through strategic debt management. Thanks for listening to the Your Credit Matters segment brought to you by rsrlinks.com/debt-free, rsrlinks.com/debt-free. So don't forget, if you're looking at that, one of the things that kind of goes hand in hand with that, once you figure out where you are and get your credit scores in line, you might want to look at our two-step. We've talked about it many, many times. You're using some of your household equity to bring down your liability side of your balance sheet. See, what is the liability side? You've got assets, you've got liabilities. The difference between is your net worth. So if we bring down the liability side, bring up the asset side, that brings your net worth up. That's what we're trying to do. So go to that link, rsrlinks.com/two-step, and make sure that you've got everything in order right there. I think we got time for a real-time real estate segment brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. The real reason home sales slowed in January, and it's not what you think. If you saw headlines that talked about home sales fell sharply in January, it probably raised an eyebrow, especially if you're thinking about selling your house. But context matters. Yes, in January, home sales declined. That was more to do with seasonality and the weather than it does with any big drop-off in demand. What's really behind the decline? Reports coming out of the National Association of Realtors, NAR, say the pace of home sales fell roughly 8.4% last month compared to the month before. And that's true, but it isn't necessarily cause for alarm. Data shows it's normal for sales to dip in January. In the last 4 years, that pattern has held true all but once. And sure, the decline we saw this year was a steeper drop-off than the norm. If you're watching us on RonSiegelRadio.tv, any of our socials, or the ABC News and Talk AM 1490 and FM 98.1 video feed, you are seeing a chart, and the yellow bars, that's what shows that can explain to the declines. But more on that in a moment. The really important part you're not going to get from the headlines is this. Typically speaking, the pace of home sales picks back up in February as the spring market starts to take off. That's shown in the green bars on the chart, and you can see how that picks up each year. So even the market slowed a bit momentarily, it should start to pick back up. And just in case you're wondering why the bigger drop this year, especially with mortgage rates being lower than last year, here's your answer. As Realtor.com explains, Winter Storm Fern, which dumped snow and ice across large swaths of the country, likely disrupted some closings, weighing on the data and making it difficult to pick out the housing market momentum trend from the weather noise, unquote. This January, 40 states were hit with widespread winter weather, according to the National Weather Service, and in real estate, that slows down the momentum. Here's why. Existing home sales data tracks closed transactions, not new contracts. So if inspections, appraisals, or final walkthroughs get delayed by storms, those deals often slide into the next month instead of falling apart, especially when buyers and sellers are still trying to move forward. Will home sales pick back up? January's missing sales are more likely postponed than lost. They haven't disappeared. They're just taking a little longer to close. The rest of the data still points to a market that has traction heading into this spring. Affordability has improved for the 7th month in a row, and buyers are regaining negotiating power in many markets throughout the nation. So this one monthly report doesn't mean buyers aren't buying. It just means as weather warms up, activity should too. Bottom line, don't confuse a weather-impacted month with a market losing steam. If anything, improving affordability is an indicator of more activity to come, not less. If you have questions about what you're hearing online or in the news, give me a call, because the truth is a little context can give you back your peace of mind. I am Ron Siegel, your certified liability advisor, helping families build wealth through strategic debt management. Thanks for listening to the Real-Time Real Estate segment, brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. You know, when they're listening to some of the headlines, I'll say this till I can't speak any longer. If you're getting your news from the mainstream media, if you're getting your news from any one of those sources, think about what their motivation is. And are you getting unbiased news, or are you getting news that's just pandering? Because what is the job of that station? It's to get ears to commercials. Nothing more, nothing less. They want to get ears to the commercials because that's how they all get paid. Now, what do I do that's different? Well, the news that I'm listening to are predominantly, yes, I do listen to CNN, and I've got CNBC streaming on my dashboard here. And I listen to Fox Business, and I listen to KTLA locally here in Southern California. But if you listen closely with an ear to what they're meaning, or what they're meaning instead of what they're just blabbling, you're going to hear that they're giving you their bias. When they say the nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office, do you really believe anything in Washington is non-biased? Right? Somebody hired those people. If you're listening to somebody that's reporting on what the Federal Reserve has to say, well, do you know that 90+% of the people that work at the Federal Reserve make contributions to the Democrat Party? Is that unbiased? Probably not. So they're all biased. Now, why is it that I say that we've got different news here on Ron Siegel Radio? Well, because we pay a subscription to get the news, not the opinions. I have to vet the service to see, are they giving us their opinions? And it's all the adjectives. That's where they put their bias in. I was listening to the Channel 5 news the other day, to their news, the business news reporter, and he's talking about tariffs. Now, if you listen to Jay Powell last week, they came out and said that they're not seeing the tariff-based inflation they expected. Channel 5 News comes out and says the unbiased Congressional Budget Office says that the inflation is based on tariffs. Well, okay, see, now you can listen to two different sources and get two different opinions, so you got to make your own. So I'm going and paying sources that aren't telling me about who's unbiased and who's not. That's their opinion. They're looking and they're saying, here's what the data says. I make my own opinions from that data. I share the data with you. So I have to go and pay for these sources. Now, what is their job? Their job is to make sure that they give their subscribers the news that they're looking for, not just what they want to hear, but those of us that subscribe to these different services are saying, we don't want your opinion unless you tell us it's your opinion. If you'd say, this is my opinion, this is commentary, fine. Now I know that it's not news. If they're telling me that this is what happened, or this is what they got directly from the president, or this is what they're seeing directly from the data, well, that's something completely different. You'll hear me talking. If you watch our social media channels, you'll see that I post a lot of stuff from Quill Intelligence. Well, the author there worked for the Dallas Fed for 9 years. She's telling us, or telling me, because I subscribe, anybody else that subscribes get the same information. She's telling us, hey, this is what we're seeing in the data. And she gives us the exact data and the charts. Doesn't have to give us her opinion. It's just what the data says. Does the data say we're in good shape? Does the data say we're in bad shape? Does the data say that we're not getting the full story? What's the data say? And yes, if they don't give us good data, facts, we stop subscribing. Their business goes away. So that's why we hope you tune in to Ron Siegel Radio on a regular basis. Subscribe to our channels, engage with us so that the algorithms know we're here and know to let you know when we're broadcasting. And as always, I ask, set that first radio preset button to come back here and join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors, and big thanks to Josh and Sean for engineering us today. And of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, call me anytime, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money. It's going to help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.